Hello everyone, and welcome back. So I know I'm a little late on this topic, but I do think it's important to cover this for new players and players who are on a budget and want to find the best deals they can. The question we are asking in this video is it worth it to buy the new Jump to Lightspeed Spotlight decks? That's the Boba Fett deck and the new Han Solo deck. These decks are standard premier constructed decks, each containing a set 50 cards centered around their leader's ability. Boba Fett, any methods necessary, and Han Solo, never tell me the odds. Boba Fett seems to be one of the most sought after Spotlight decks in this game's history, as both my big local game stores have run out of stock. So I had to go to Amazon to get one for MSRP. But do these Spotlight decks actually give you good value for what you're paying for them? Or is it better to just buy the singles? Let's take a look. A Jump to Lightspeed Spotlight deck contains the following. One ready-to-play out-of-the-box 50-card premier constructed deck, which itself features a playset of special rarity cards that are only available in this Spotlight deck, unless you get lucky and open them in your foil or hyperspace slot in a Jump to Lightspeed booster pack. Also included is your leader for each Spotlight deck, which is only found inside these pre-constructed Spotlight decks. Unless, again, you get extremely lucky and get the showcase out of a random Jump to Lightspeed booster pack. They also contain a 30 HP base in the appropriate color, 3 double-sided tokens, 31 counters for damage and initiative, and 1 Jump to Lightspeed standard booster pack. And what does all of this cost you? Well, the MSRP for both Spotlight decks is $25. So with tax, I paid $26 for each of these decks. Let's examine the financial worth for each of these Jump to Lightspeed Spotlight decks, assuming that you paid MSRP for them, which is $25, especially since this is about a month after release, and I could find both of them for MSRP. I found the Han Solo deck at my local game store, but I could only find the Boba Fett deck on Amazon. It was sold out 3 local game stores that I tried to find it at, which means that maybe it's a hot item. If you were to buy all the singles for each Spotlight deck for their lowest price as of the time of the recording of this video, which is about a month after release and after the much anticipated ban of Jango Fett Concealing the Conspiracy, Triple Dark Raid, and DJ Blatant Thief, you would need to spend $53.24 for the Boba Fett Spotlight deck singles and $61.23 for the Han Solo Spotlight deck singles. Now, some of these cards I don't think are that great in these decks and aren't worth a lot of value. What if we eliminated these cards? How much value does that leave us? Well, in Boba Fett Any Methods Necessary, this leaves us with 36 cards and the exclusive leader, with the largest value coming from the playset of 3 of the exclusive special rarity cards. That's Fett's Fire Spray Feared Silhouette, Houndstooth Reliable and Deadly, and Bosk Hunt by Instinct, which alone are worth around $28. Then you have 4 really powerful rares in IG-2000 Assassin's Aggressor, Boba Fett Feared Bounty Hunter, Allegiant General Pride, and Fett's Fire Spray Pursuing the Bounty, all of which are above $1, and the leader is also worth just under $4. So in total, if you just include all of what I consider the playable cards in the Spotlight deck, you get a monetary value of just over $46. In terms of gameplay, Boba Fett Any Methods Necessary lets you deal 1 indirect damage the first time that you deal non-combat damage each turn. And when he deploys on 6 resources, he can be played as a pilot and deal 4 damage to finish off any pesky units that may have soaked some of your indirect damage or non-combat damage. It is an aggressive burn style deck where 44 of the cards deal some form of non-combat damage, which allows you to really utilize your leader's ability. It also boasts 20 vehicles, which allows you to consistently be able to deploy Boba Fett as a pilot and get that extra value. I would have liked to see a little bit more burst damage in this deck and possibly a few more late game ships, like more Fett's Fire Spray Pursuing the Bounties. This deck will be able to pile on damage early, but I suspect you will find difficulty actually finding that last bit of burst damage to really seal the fate of your opponent. Now, there is a lot to like about this deck and leader, and there are only a few spots that would need upgrading in this deck. I think with a few of these upgrades, you can really iron out the wrinkles in the precon and make a serious competitive budget deck. Next up is Han Solo Never Tell Me the Odds, eliminating all the cards that I don't think are really worth running and aren't really good in general. That leaves you with 35 relevant and playable cards and this exclusive leader. Most of the value has again come from 3 of the special rarity cards. That's Millennium Falcon Get Out and Push, Chewbacca Faithful First Mate, and Shuttle Tidarium Flying Casual, which alone are worth an astounding $33. This deck also contains one of the most expensive cards in the set, Commandeer, which at the time of recording is selling for just below $10. Whereas the Boba Fett deck had value split among many cards, Han Solo has most of them centered around these special rarity cards, Commandeer, and the Leader. But it has an overall monetary value of around $53.25, just including these cards. Gameplay-wise, Han Solo Never Tell Me the Odds allows you to reveal the top card of your deck and then attack with a unit. And if those two cards have different odd values, you get a +1 attack boost for that attack. When Han Solo deploys, he can deploy as an upgrade, and for each odd cost card you control, including Han himself, you get to ready a resource. This deck is another aggressive style deck with 50 odd cost cards that allow you to take full advantage of your leader's ability. The pilots in this deck also let you try to smooth out your curve, so you can still cleanly play out your even resource turns. It boasts cards such as Bo Shek and the Shuttle Tidarium, which also get bonuses depending on odd cost cards that they discard. The game plan is to push a lot of damage early, and then on the turn your leader deploys, you spend 5 resources early on, deploy your leader to try and get 2 to 5 extra resources of value, allowing you for a big swing turn that your opponent can't recover from. Then, to finish off your opponent, there are a few cards like It's a Trap and Commandeer, which may be able to help you squeeze out that last little bit of damage you would need to finish off your opponent. So, how do I rank these precons? Well, a constructed Boba Fett Any Methods Necessary deck did have a top 9 showing in Denver, but it did use one of the banned cards, Triple Dark Raid. So losing that actually really hurts this deck, but it did have a tough time into Jango Fett Concealing the Conspiracy. So maybe both of those bans together equal out to a neutral effect on this deck and allowing it to still have a place as a competitive leader. And if he is a competitive leader, Fett's Fire Spray Feared Silhouette will be used in that deck. Also, most of the 35 cards I left in the deck will be used in the final versions of these decks, which easily gives you over $25 worth of single values in cards. Adding in that with the booster pack currently priced at $5 MSRP, you easily get more than $25 worth of value that you would spend on this Spotlight deck. I will give this precon an A- rating. I would have liked a few slightly more expensive rares in this deck, but all in all, I think this is easily worth a buy, especially if you like this burn style deck. However, while Boba Fett Any Methods Necessary has seen some competitive play, Han Solo Never Tell Me the Odds has not seen any top tier premier play, but that was mainly because of its bad matchups. It did not really get affected by any of the bans. So is this deck poised to get better? That remains to be seen. However, Chewbacca, Millennium Falcon, and Commandeer are all cards that are very playable, and they currently have a combined value of $34. That plus the booster pack you get puts you to around $40 in value. I give this deck a B rating because I'm not sure you can take this deck to a weekly play and do that well even with a few upgrades. Even if you don't use the Millennium Falcon, Chewbacca and Commandeer alone are close to $20. If you like Green Hero, I would pick this up. Otherwise, you may just want to skip this and pick up the singles as needed. And that's all I have for you today. I know that I'm a little late on this video, but my intentions here are I could use this video as a testing ground to get feedback from you, the community, on how I can improve these videos for future sets and get them out closer to release of those sets. I do hope that I helped at least one person out and they make a good financial decision based on this video. With that, I hope you all have a wonderful day and see ya.